Greetings, Ganja Yogis. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you enjoyed my first stoner sesh guest at the beginning of all of our classes here in San Francisco, and wherever I travel with Ganja Yoga, we have time getting to know each other and have a little opening circle where we get a snapshot into everybody's lives. So I didn't want you to miss out on that, even if you're joining us from home somewhere far, far away from San Francisco. So hopefully you enjoyed. I'm going to have a lot of different types of people on, short sessions with all different types of products and cool information, and hopefully it gave you time to prepare for your practice. I'm squeezing in a last toke before we begin, and if you need more time to get high, you can pause the recording and start whenever you need. For our practice today, I recommend a block to sit on. It makes sitting so much more comfortable, and we might use it later on in our movements as well. You'll also need a yoga strap or a tie from a bathrobe or whatever works that's nice and long like this. And then I like a blanket or something for when I lay down on the floor, and we can go into more about that later. So I'm sitting in what's called a kneel, sort of a Japanese tea ceremony sit. You might prefer to sit cross-legged as we begin our very first Ganja Yoga Online class. So pick your seat, whatever feels better for you, elevating your hips so you're nice and high, letting your knees be lower than the hips, and then hopefully your legs can relax as you lengthen your spine. And so for many of us, it could be not that often that we come down onto the floor and the knees might be creaky or the back or hips might be sore. So you can always adjust and modify. You could start this practice sitting on a chair or being on your bed. So throughout the different videos, I'll remind you of that. But if I'm ever not reminding, you need to know that here and now, that you can always adjust to make it perfect for you. Some, discomfort's not the right word, but some novelty, some newness is to be expected, because we're going to be pretzeling it a little and putting the joints into new contortions, new alignments. But if anything ever hurts, then please adjust and just do what you need. So, make your modifications so that you can continue wherever we are in the practice, just so you don't have to look like me. And then starting each class with a short meditation. Let's close the eyes here and let the hands rest face up on the legs. Allowing your eyes to softly close. Take these first few moments of our practice to draw your awareness into the sensation of both your body and also the sensation of your breathing. Relax what you can relax in your body, sitting as tall and as straight as comfortable. Softening your thighs, your hips, your butt. Relaxing your belly and shoulders down. Come into awareness of breathing, inhaling from your nose, filling up your torso with breath. You can exhale from your nose or your mouth at any time. Exhaling from the mouth is even more relaxing, so let's do a couple rounds together. Inhale, nose. Elongating your breathing, slowing it down, deepening it. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth with a soft sigh. Inhale. And then next round, close your mouth if you were exhaling from it and just breathe in and out from your nose. See if you can keep the longer, fuller breathing pattern. Notice where in your body you feel the breath expanding and gently deflating. Yoga is all about uniting the body, the breath, and the mind. The awareness on relaxing your body and slowing down your breathing without strain. Let's just do 3 more breaths here in silence. Noticing what you notice, expanding your awareness. On your next exhale, keep your eyes closed, but start to vigorously rub your palms together. Warm up your hands. And then place your warm hands over your closed eyes, letting the energy soften muscular tension around your eyes. Take a big breath. Open your mouth, exhale. Another big one like that. And then flutter your eyes, softly open and closed under your hands, letting the cracks of light in. And then tickle your hands slowly off your face. And you can do yoga practice eyes opened, or for me, eyes closed is even more relaxing. Keep drawing the awareness more to feeling. So whatever feels better for you. From this kneel posture, let's start our practice on all fours. So just placing your block and your props to the sides. Come to table pose, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Take a moment to feel that alignment. Tops of feet on the floor, shins parallel, and your feet and knees are as wide as your hips, or also your head is the same distance as your inner hips, so not the kind of outside of our hips if we're women. Let's come into a few rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, you drop your belly and slowly lift your face. Exhale, you arch your spine like a cat. See if you can initiate this movement as you inhale from your upper back muscles, contracting, engaging them to slowly look up. As you exhale, keep your weight forward as best you can, rounding your spine. If it's tiring on your wrist, make fists here as we inhale, engaging the underused upper back. Exhale, feel the movements massaging and awakening your tissues. Inhale. And then as before, let's exhale from an open mouth. Nice. Come back to flat hands here. We're going to inhale, just like we did with dropping the belly, lifting the butt, but this time turn so your cow is over your shoulder. Exhale, back to center, cat pose. Inhale, left cow. Exhale, open mouth. One more each way. Inhale. Slowing down your breath, exhale. Last one. And then come down to elbows, bringing your elbows as wide as your shoulders. Cross your left arm over your right one and walk your right arm away, feeling a stretch in your left side body. Don't let your hips change. So come back to center, do the other one, but this time really keep your hips still. Still feeling a stretch along your right side body. And then come back to the first round, left over right. Hips stay still and elbow pushes down so shoulder stays away from ear. Again, walking it as far as it can on the angle. And then this time flip the palm. So we're not shifting the hips and we're pushing the right elbow down. But see if you can rest your cheek on or toward your bicep. Couple of breaths here. Pulling your hips back. Keeping your tailbone lifted. Deeper breathing, filling your belly, filling your side body. So practicing the breath that we had when we were babies. If you watch a baby breathe, it's their whole torso. So it's not about puffing up your chest like a cartoon, but really slowing down and feeling your breath in your rib cage on the side. Let's do a last breath here. And then slowly come back to center, and again, the second side. Pushing down through the elbow and the whole forearm, keeping your hips still. Walk that hand, flip it, and rest. Breathing and feeling where the breath goes in your body. So you're in a twist, you're in a pretzel. The breath is going to be, a little strange. So just feeling what expands, and use your exhale to relax. And then moving slowly, inhale yourself back up to table and tuck your toes under and see how it feels to get a little bit of a foot stretch here, or perhaps more foot stretch, bringing your hands back by your knees and your hips down onto your heels. You want to make sure your baby toes are also getting a stretch if they're short like mine. And then you can play with how much stretch. This might be plenty, or maybe you lift the knees and kind of move around to wake up your feet. Make sure you're breathing. And then when you're ready, lower your knees gently back down and come to all fours again. Walk your knees back 2-3 inches. Press your hands into the floor and inhale, lift your hips up and back for a downward facing dog. Move your legs around here. Bend one knee, stretch the opposite heel down. And as you do this, open up your hands nice and wide. Throughout all of our postures, our table and our down dog, we want to push the hands firmly into the floor so the shoulders are always away from the ears. And then let's lower the knees back down, tuck your toes under again, and then either lean back or sit up if it's less, sore on your feet, and just shake out your hands. Open your mouth, exhale, and then we'll come back to all fours. And if it's starting to feel ouchy on your knees, you can double up your mat, or you can, use a blanket under your knees at any height to alleviate some of the pressure. Let's have the left hand under the face. So again, pushing down so the distance between ear and shoulder is bigger. Inhale, bring your right arm parallel to the floor. So your hips and butt are the same as your table, just like when we were a moment ago. So if someone came around and put a cup of tea on your sacrum, it shouldn't fall off as we do this next pose. Okay, so the hip stays stable. Bring your arm to the side and then toward up. So only your waist and higher are twisting. Your hips are resisting down, so you're shining your jeans zipper back to the floor. Nice. On an exhale, thread the needle. Bring it all the way through and your right cheek to the floor. Don't let your tail tuck like mine is. Keep it up towards the ceiling like a happy dog tail. And if your cheek doesn't go to the floor, you can rest it on your block. Couple of breaths here, pressing down with your left hand. Spiraling your torso. Feeling your breath. And if you'd like, your left hand can lift to the sky. Keep squaring your hips back towards the floor. The stability in your posture. So it's not about how far we go or how much we get flexibility, finding the stability. So everything is in balance. Perhaps pressing down with your whole right arm. And then on an exhale, coming all the way back down to the floor with your left hand and pressing yourself back to table. Let's wash it out with cat-cow. Inhale, cow. Exhale, open mouth, cat. Inhale, engaging your upper back muscles, one at a time, peeling your head up. Exhale, feel your spinal vertebrae arch to the sky. And then back to stillness in center. Bring your right hand under your face. Square the hips so they want to move to counterbalance the weight distribution and weakness in our arms. So we're going to keep them still. Inhale as best you can. Bring your arm to the left and up. One breath here. It's okay to shake as we develop strength. On an exhale, thread your needle all the way through. Walk the hand as far as it will go. You can press down into the floor with your right hand. Finger pads are flat, or it can go up. Starting to open your spine into a twist. That right hip shouldn't be going right or over to the right, or rather up or over to the right. So keep it where it is. A couple more breaths here. Neutral pelvis lifting up, tailbone untucking. And then drawing the hips back somewhat. Make sure you're breathing. And then moving slowly, release that top arm. Transitioning in and out of our postures just as mindfully as we are when we're in them. Find your table pose. And then let's come back to seated. So whether you're kneeling, and a kneel is definitely more comfortable on a block, or whether it's cross-legged. You can also try a kneel with a blanket between the thigh and the calf. So if your knees feel ouchy, or you can combine blanket and block for even more comfort. So always just trying to find movements we don't do in our day-to-day, expanding the range of options. So not avoiding things that are hard, but modifying so that in time we can do more and more things. So always expanding our bodies, our joints, range of motion without forcing anything too soon. Always in balance. So sitting comfortably here, let's take a hold of the block. Just some mobility exercises to keep it going. We'll hold on to the block. Did I say block? To the strap. Holding onto the strap so that it's as wide as the shoulders, or maybe even a little wider. And then if you were going to punch something or knock on the door, put that part of your fist up to the ceiling and then forward, bending your wrist somewhat so you get a stretch down your arms, your forearms. So your sternum is going to want to lift here. It's going to want to come forward for many of us. See if in all your postures, 90% of the postures, we try to drop the sternum down. So you could take your hand to your breastbone and help feel it moving toward your belly. but you don't slouch, you stay tall. So you're pushing down through your butt to ground and grow taller, but the sternum does not arch to facilitate feeling tall, almost like a military tall. Rather keeping that neutral so that we don't get injuries in that part of our already weakened spine. Think of how little driving, typing, and texting uses the arms or upper back, in any way. So keeping that there, bring your other hand perhaps to, your low back and have a curve, a neutral lower spine. So you want to feel some curve there, reducing the curve here, but bringing the curve here. So that's in all our postures, 90%. And then as we bring the knuckles forward, getting a forearm stretch, shoulders down. Let's breathe. On your next exhale, slowly turn your right ear and look gently over your right shoulder. Inhale slowly back to center. And then exhale the other way. Inhale through your nose to warm and purify your breath. Exhale mouth or nose. Mouth is even more releasing. Inhale. Moving slowly with the head and neck. Come back to center and slowly release your arms. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. And then we'll come out of this seat. Bring your hips over to one side, slide off of your props, and extend your legs in front. Shake out your legs, let a little blood flow in. And then lean back with open feet and notice how you feel right now. Notice the effect that our poses, our mindfulness, our deeper breathing has had on your mood so far. Yoga is the art and the science of developing awareness. Awareness without expectation or judgment, just acceptance of the present moment, inside and out. And this practice goes far beyond our hour or so on the sticky mat. Starting with awareness of your body, of your sensation, and then awareness of and deepening of your breath. Let's do another big breath here. And then use your exhale to slowly flutter your eyes open. And then sit up nice and tall. So I recommend your block sitting cross-legged. And then whatever way you sat, do the opposite for balance. Pull the flesh of your butt over to the side to help facilitate you sitting up taller. And again, have your strap handy. So just starting with neutral spine, finding the curve in your low back so your pelvis can tilt like a happy or sad dog. Sitting a lot makes us sad dog, pulling on our leg muscles. So let's see if we can find, even though it may not feel so natural, a happy pelvis, happy dog tail. Like you didn't want to pee on your shoes if you're squatting to pee, I guess if you're a girl. And then sometimes we lift the chest and ribs, even though we've been learning about it for years and years. So if, like me, that's your habit, drop them down and keep them there. And then we're going to wrap the strap around the chest, around the back, around the level of the bra strap or heart rate monitor area. And then we're going to swing one end over each shoulder and pull down on each of the straps. So you can feel how this pulls your shoulder blades. Oops. You can feel how this pulls your shoulder blades down. The gumption here might be to lift the chest, lift the ribs. So Keep that down. It doesn't mean you're slouching or hunchbacking. Push down into the pelvis bones, the butt bones, to grow tall. And if your head is forward, pull it back in space. Ears gently over shoulders, chin ever so slightly down. Perhaps closing your eyes if that's more relaxing, and just feel what this does. A gentle pull down with your arms. You can try down and back behind you as you breathe. You can try down and forward, or down into the sides. And then you can either stay here, or you can cross the straps behind you. So you're holding a strap in opposite hand, and then try pulling down from there. Keeping your breastbone down. And then if your strap is long enough and it's available, tie it in the front. Bring it around and tie it. Mine is almost too short. And then you don't need to hold it, just resting with the palms up. And remember, the inhale is not about puffing up the chest, but filling your belly forward, but especially your ribs to the sides, and also slightly your back behind. See if you can deepen your breathing, softening your legs, letting go of tension in your face. Shoulders down and back. And then we'll sweetly release, untying. Just take your time so the transitions are mindful, letting your strap come to the side. Change the cross of your legs and sit tall for a moment. And then we can stay on our block, but let's take the left knee in front so the shin is coming parallel to the front of your mat. And then bring your other ankle onto your leg. And then you may have to sort of adjust a little bit. And if the block feels too high, the blanket might be more comfortable. And if you make your blanket into more of a sausage or a cylinder shape, it can help to roll your pelvis to neutral more comfortably than the square block. So whatever feels good. So again, finding that roll of your pelvis so you get your happy dog tail. And then take a hold of your strap here. We're going to hold onto the strap with the left hand overhead, and keeping the rib cage down, reach behind and hold another end with your right hand. And start to walk your right hand up so that it's as close to your left as comfortable. Pulling your left elbow up and your right elbow down. Don't let your head thrust forward, and keep your shoulders soft. Cow face pose for just a couple breaths. As you inhale, feel your spine lengthen. And as you exhale, soften your face, your shoulders, your belly, your hips, your legs. Flexing your ankles here to protect your knee joints. And as you flex the toes in towards the shins, flex especially on the baby toe sides if you can, even a little. Couple more breaths, uniting body, breath, and mind. And then release slowly. First your arm gingerly comes down. And then lean back on your hands to switch legs. So the ankle is not on the leg, but beyond the leg. Flexing your toes inwards, rolling so that, the bottom of my block is quite a bit off the floor. It's tilted, so it's helping me to get neutral pelvis. And then hold on to one end with your right arm, the other with your left, walking it up. Notice if there's any difference on your mobility, these two shoulders. Pulling your elbows in opposite directions, and letting your head glide back in space. Feeling your body and softening what doesn't have to be working here. So yes, the arms are pulling the elbows away, and yes, the ankles are flexed. But what else could you soften? Maybe it's your face. Let's just breathe here for 3 mindful breaths, as deep and as low as you can. And then slowly release, first the arm, then the legs. And shake it out. Open your mouth, exhale. So in the lineage that my teacher taught me, we rest between every few postures. I don't always adhere to that, but it is sometimes good to take a moment and find lying on our backs. Especially if you're new to yoga, you can pause the videos at any time and come to lying down. Let your feet be wide as we take this short rest. Feel the effect of the yoga practice on your body. Notice the sensations you feel. Notice the effect of the cannabis, if you consumed it. And any difference as a result of the cannabis, if you already have a yoga practice. Then we'll just spend 5 more breaths here, softening the spine, the hips, the shoulders down to the floor. Relaxing the legs and arms, back of neck down. Finding our deeper breath again. And now I'll illustrate our next move, and you can decide if you want to do it or not, and if not, I'll show a variation. So we'll bring the knees to the chest and see how it feels to rock forward and back. Inhaling to the butt, exhaling back. If there's a table near your head, like me, walk yourself away from it safely. And if this doesn't feel safe or comfortable, you can rock side to side. Feet on the floor is the chillest, or you can have your knees up, your feet off the floor if you want. So let's just massage the spine however it feels good. And so this is a perfect version. Another version, if you want even more vigorous, is to come off the butt. And I don't think I have space, or maybe even spinal mobility, but oh, here it is, feet to the floor. So it's just a party trick, a little more mobility, especially if it's first thing in the morning where you want to wake up. But the chill versions are all equally good, so there's no final destination in our practice. If you are going forward and back, keep your head still. See if you can roll down the very middle of your spine. You can tell because you're in the very middle of your mat. And the next time you come up to the butt or feet, stay here. If you're rocking side to side, roll to one side and take your time to sweetly press yourself up. So here we are once more, in seated, we'll do hero's meditation pose. So the right knee is on top of the left one, bending your left knee and then stepping your right one over. And then walk your feet away from each other so that you can sit up nice and tall and have as little space between the legs as possible. Some of us it's going to look like this, and that's just where it is. Like, no more walking is available. I'm feeling it. So we never want to force, so we're not all going to look the same. And I just see my doobie right here. It is a little challenging not to just take a very quick puff as we set up our posture. Moving the flesh of the seat over to the side again, using a prop like a blanket if one of your butt cheeks isn't reaching the floor. And then let's just rest with the left arm on top of the right one, pulling the head back. A slight downward movement of the chin, lengthening the back of your legs, rather the back of your neck, softening your legs. Hero's meditation pose, uniting body, breath, and mind as we really feel into the hips. Both cow face and this one open similar parts of the hips, which in yoga are said to be the seat of our emotions, our unexpressed angers, slights, resentments, upsets, disappointments. As you breathe into these tissues, perhaps squeezing out, biochemical emotions that didn't get moved however long ago, flushing them through and out of you. And perhaps it's all just symbolism and intention. Perhaps there's science behind it. But in either case, why not envision that each exhale is like a lubricant, scrubbing away any tension. You don't even have to be conscious of what the tension is. Maybe the physical represents the emotional. As you massage one, they both release. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Inhaling to fill the belly and the ribs. And exhaling to deflate them. Nowhere else you have to be. Nothing else you have to do. Isn't that glorious? Let's lean back on the hands. Release the legs slowly into a wide V shape and shake them from side to side. Relax. And hopefully walking tomorrow will be no issue. So if you're new to movement, new to stretching, yoga, any kind of embodiment, there may be a little bit of tenderness in the days after your practice. It will go away quick. There should never be pain during or after. So pain like in the joints, in the back, in the bones, in the joints. That is something that doesn't make sense. But stretching and contracting, working the muscles, of course there's going to be a little bit of discomfort, as the lactic acid builds. So just keep drinking lots of fluids if there's any muscle stiffness, gentle stretches, gentle movements, walking, and keep your practice up. It'll definitely go away. And just make sure you're not pushing. All right, let's come to our second side. Hero's meditation. Notice any difference, and then it's the opposite palm. So the left leg is on top, the right arm. Sitting up nice and tall. So we'll start at the bottom. Feel your hips heavy. Neutral pelvis, happy tail with a curve in your lower back, also called your sacrum. Relax your belly here and feel your sternum rest on your belly. Your arms heavy, your shoulders away from your ears. Head back in space with the chin ever so slightly down. Pressing through your hips, down, down, down to lengthen your head up. Feeling your spine long. Body, mind, and breath united. And then as you take this next exhale, once more lean back and release. Feet wide to shake it out and let fresh oxygenated blood fill your tissues. Nice. Last seated posture, we'll take the soles of the feet together. So again, I really recommend sitting up tall. And this is another one where the blanket at a cylinder is even better because it helps the pelvis roll. A thick bath towel or another yoga mat would also do. Soles of feet together here so you can roll on your blanket and get that neutral pelvis. So there's a curve in the low back. Some versions of this posture tuck the pelvis like a sad dog and make an egg shape, but we're going to keep it in neutral. Sternum down, so your whole spine is one thing. There's no arch in the sternum. On an exhale, hinge from your hips, like your hips and your spine are a door frame, and let your spine come forward without changing your sternum or tail. Your hands can come to the floor to support your weight. Palms or finger pads, shoulders soft. Always finding neutral pelvis. So that might put a lot of pressure on your feet. Sometimes we put a rolled face cloth under my husband's ankles or feet to help alleviate some pressure. So always using props. And as you gain more flexibility, you may need them less and less. Slow yogic breath in butterfly pose. And then inhale, slowly come all the way back up. Close your knees together, feet to the floor. And just for a moment, we will give a sad tuck to the tail and a big hug to the legs. Open your mouth, exhale into your legs. And then we'll release the blanket once more. And we're going to come to a posture with the right leg extended on the floor and the left knee behind. Let's tuck the left toes under. Lean back on the left hand and lift your hips up so you're on your left shin. This may be where you go, or you might push your hips forward into a back bend. You might swing the left arm behind you. You might turn your head and look at it. So remember, it's not about the destination. It's just the journey, the discovery, the play, the useful stretching. If you're really new to movement, come back out of it and then do it a second round. So moving in and out of poses very slowly, very mindfully. You can just get the tissues used to it. Let's all exhale and gently release. And then we'll do the other side. That's one of my faves these days. Let's bring the left leg on the diagonal. Tuck the right toes under. And when you're ready, press down into the right hand to just lift up to any amount, even if it's here with the butt on the heel or off it, playing with balance. When you're ready, swing the arm over the body to the right. Push your hips forward. See if you can drop your head, shoulder away from ear. Breathe. Moving dynamically or holding your posture. Soften what you might soften. And then we'll all exhale, transitioning mindfully. So beautifully done. We'll find child's pose. Some of us might put the blanket under the knees, alleviating some compression, resting the forehead to the floor or on a block. Open your mouth as you exhale down. 2 last breaths here to rest. If your mind wandered, not a big deal. Just bring it back. And then as you're ready, slowly release, releasing your props to the side. We're going to come to the belly. So you can just make your way there, or you can try this little inchworm movement that took my yoga teacher training cohort, that I attended to be a teacher. There's 10 of us, and it took us a month to get it. So be easy on yourself if you want to try it. The arms extend away from the shoulders, elbows off the floor. So if you're on your belly, you can just chill. It's your practice. If you'd like to, bring your nose down to the floor and your booty up to the sky. So again, it's that happy dog tail. And we're going to roll the nose forward, keeping the chest down, the butt and belly off the butt high and the belly off the floor. So the elbows are going to want to cheat. They're going to want to spread wide because of tight shoulders. But that's not safe for the elbow or shoulder joints, so let's keep the elbows in. So just give it a try. Inhale, coming forward. And then it's easy to go into a little cobra here. And if you want, you could exhale back into a child's pose. Inhale. Exhale. And we'll do a third round if we're playing. Practicing this weird little inchworm. I don't know the name. If anybody does, please let me know. This third time we come down, we'll all take the right cheek to the floor. Arms to the sides. Exhale from your mouth. Let's do another big open mouth exhale. And relax. Breathing deeply. And letting your butt soften. As many open mouth exhales as you'd like. And then let's come up to Sphinx pose. Elbows under the shoulders. Feet only as wide as your head. So look back. And notice, are your toes super in? See if you can have the tops of the feet equally on the floor. And then with your elbows under your shoulders, push down into the floor. So we're always looking for space between the ears and the shoulders. Again, don't thrust your rib cage to deepen the stretch. Push the ribs gently down and in where they belong. And then as you press the elbows into the floor, your whole spine arches more. And this is where we might allow a sad dog tail. Back bending, like when you're reaching up to grab a heavy box from above, protecting the spine. And as you don't have to push the tail to sad, it is there usually. You don't have to arch it to happy in this or other back bends. So this is the 10% of the time we lose the sacral curve, the lower spine curve. One more breath in your Sphinx. And then pressing down evenly through both hands, use your exhale and turn your head to gently look over your right shoulder. Exhale back to center. And then go the other way. Coming back to stillness in center. Release to crocodile, resting one hand over the other and your forehead onto your hands. Open your mouth, exhale. And then bring your arms to a T. Bring your left cheek to the floor. Press your left hand underneath your shoulder into the floor. And then roll yourself, oops, my mistake, your right hand under your right shoulder. So left cheek on the floor, right hand under right shoulder. That makes more sense. And then press into the floor and see how it feels to roll onto the outside of your left hip. This is a pretty intense stretch. You can roll less to get less intensity, or put your foot or knee in front to get less intensity. Stacking your legs if it feels good. Make sure you always are looking for neutral pelvis in your low back. No thrusting in your front ribs. Breathing. And now as you're ready, use an exhale to slowly release. Change which arm is behind. Right cheek on the floor, left hand under left shoulder, and then roll. Slow yogic breath. Noticing any difference you might feel this side. You don't have to replicate the posture from side to side. If you have big imbalance, big tightness on the right, maybe the arm is less perpendicular to your body, or you roll less on it. If your breath becomes compromised, you might notice that you're working too hard. Two more conscious breaths, reuniting time and again, breath, body, mind, breath, body, mind. And on a slow exhale, sweetly release your posture. Roll all the way onto your back. And rest. If it feels good, open your mouth, exhale. Exaggerating it slightly. Permission to relax. In fact, let's fake a yawn. Inhale from your mouth. Stretch your face as big as you can. One more, big yawn. And now bend your knees. Slowly roll yourself to the side. Use your arm muscles to slowly, slowly, slowly press yourself up to a seat. Preparing for our last section of practice, take your blanket and make it so that it's, around an inch thick from the floor, or even more, 2-3 inches thick. You want it as sort of even or as flat as possible. A bath towel would work well too. So the more computer work you do, or driving, living in this world, the more blanket height you need. Because without the blanket, my, arched, rounded habit, in order to get these shoulders to the floor, I'm really thrusting my rib cage. So I want to elevate my head and shoulders so my ribs can live where they belong. So it's all part of the same practices. So as we come to the blanket, put your head and the top of your shoulder blades on it. And then open up your arms wide. You want your strap handy. Feet wide. Corpse pose. See how it feels with the tip of the shoulder blades, the tops, on the blanket. Resting your ribs down to your belly, down to your back. And hey, let's release the blanket now and just lay in corpse without it. Are the ribs higher? Are they reaching more to the sky? Because if they are, they're pulling on spine and shoulders. Let's try it back with just the top of the shoulder blades. Feel your ribs. So every time I practice on the floor, I use this modification. And then take a hold of your strap and place it at the top of your arch, your toe mounds. And wrap your arms around your strap, pressing your heel away. And this doesn't have to be a super intense version. We're going to keep it pretty chill, so you don't have to wrap as much. You want the leg, comfortably straight by, not so much by straightening the knee, but by pressing the heel away. And then we're going to cross it over to the left, but keep your right cheek on the floor. Right cheek on the floor, so it's not a very big cross. Feeling it down the outside of your right leg. Turn your toes left, your heel right. So your heel's still pointing away, but your toes have changed. So the toes are going in, your heel is going out. And then do the opposite. Your heel still points away, but now your toes are trying to go right. Your heel's going a little more left. Okay, go back the first. Toes left, heel right. Keep it like this. Crossing it over your body, softening your shoulders. Soften whatever you can soften as we take these last 2 breaths. And then back to center. Bend the knee and release. Notice any difference you may feel on your right and left leg. And then we'll change legs, moving slowly. I find bending both knees makes it easier to wrap the strap around the toe mound. And once I have the leg lifted to the floor, then I extend the opposite leg down. Soft shoulders as you cross the body. Make sure you're breathing. And let's turn the heel left, the toes right. And then the opposite. And then back to the first way, and keep it. Closing your eyes as we near toward the completion of our practice. Becoming more meditative, more relaxed. Just letting thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. And then slowly back to center. Bend the knee into the chest. And then release your leg, release your strap. Finding corpse. Big open mouth exhales. We'll do 2 more. Inhale, nose. And then bring your right arm across your body for a bicep stretch, pulling with your left gently, both shoulders down, feeling it in your right upper arm. And if you rotate your right thumb up to the sky or around, it might change where you feel the stretch. Different joint arrangements, playing around and being dynamic is healthy. Let's release and do the other arm. And then release and slowly find corpse pose. Flex your right wrist and pull your right index down toward your body. Shoulders soft, stretching your right hand. 3 conscious breaths. Can you stay present for them all? And then as you take your third exhale, switch to your left side, keeping the rest of your body relaxed as you continue to breathe. And as you take your third breath, take the other 3 fingers of your right hand together, stretching your hand on the outside. And then your left for 3 conscious breaths. Each exhale becoming more relaxed. And then shake out your hands. Up and down like this. Side to side like this. However, different ways you can think of and feel. Shake, 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 shake. And then let's release the hands. Open your mouth last time, big exhale. now as we prepare for our final rest on the floor, make any last movements you need to be comfortable. Is there a last quick stretch? Or maybe grab a blanket or socks. If you're getting up, of course, move mindfully. Pause the video if you need. Settling into our final corpse pose so we can be comfortable. Knowing the body temperature drops after practice, so you could get chilly on the floor. Feel your feet nice and wide. This lets the leg bones be more loose in the hip sockets, so the lower back has more space, less compression and pain. Let your arms be not as wide, but quite wide, so the bones can be in the shoulder sockets in a relaxed way. As you settle into corpse, see if you can be as still as possible within reason. If you need to move, just do it mindfully. In yoga, it is said stillness in the body can bring stillness in the mind. So all of these postures were said to be invented or discovered so the yogis could enter deep meditation without distraction of bodily pain and discomfort. And certainly we've heard of yogis that can hold their arm up for such a long time, years, or breathe in caves and should have died from lack of oxygen, or all these amazing accomplishments from mastering both their bodies and their minds. If you need to move the body because of pain, then don't overrun your body signals. However, if boredom comes, sometimes we move because meditation is not electric. So if that's the case, just feel your still body and feel the boredom. Try not to give into it. Your body is lying on the floor, balanced, relaxed, still. And if there is pain present in your body, see if you can relax as much as possible and then accept whatever pain remains. Just feeling your body instead of running away from pain, discomfort. Whatever you need to be comfortable, and then accepting what's left. And this acceptance can be transformational. Not trying to control, dominate, or change aspects, but floating downstream, as they say. And here we'll release the deeper yogic breath if you haven't already. And begin to feel the places where your body touches the floor. Feel your head on the floor, blanket. Your shoulders. Backs of your arms. Your spine. your butt, the backs of your legs, your heels, and now see if you can feel all of the points of contact simultaneously. Feeling all of the points of contact at the same time. Just letting yourself sink, soften, relax into the floor. Sometimes I take an extra toke before this final meditation because it's just the best part of the practice for me. Just sinking and melting, letting go of your body, your muscular holding, letting the floor do its job. And how often do we just get to lie, to recline, and do nothing? And as you're still here, as you relax here, become aware of and do not change your breathing. See if you can watch it without control. It could be shallow here. Your body is breathing. You do not have to do the breath any longer. You do not have to do the body any longer. Just relaxing and watching the breath. The mind at times may wander, just like when we did our physical yoga. Bringing the mind gently back to the present moment, to the object of our meditation. In this case, the natural breath. Remaining as relaxed, as expansive, and as heavy and grounded as possible. And now, slowly slowly start to deepen your breath. Deepen your breathing and make it so it feels like the breath wakes up your fingers, bringing life, movement back to your hands, stretching, moving your toes, wrists, ankles. And take your arms up overhead for any kind of stretch here that feels good. Maybe especially on the right and especially on the left. Stretching your face until you finally relax. And before we roll to the side and say goodbye for today, notice how you feel and know that this is a state that you can come back to each and every time you practice. In yoga, this relaxed and aware state is said to be our natural state. Just have to find it once more. On your next deep inhale, bend your knees, feet to the floor, and then as you're ready, slowly roll over to your right side and hang out in fetal pose for a breath. Thank yourself for your practice and for all that you cultivate on the mat and beyond the mat. With your head heavy and your eyes softly closed, take several breaths to slowly roll yourself up. Finding a comfortable seat with the hands touching palms and your thumbs at your heart. Become aware of the body of energy we generated in our practice. Wishing those good vibes to all beings. May all beings feel happy and healthy. In the spirit of yogic abundance, sharing the fruits of our practice. Letting bliss radiate outward to all. And with your eyes still softly closed, keep your baby fingers touching, but shine the rest of your hands to your heart, your palms facing heart. Like a mirror, feel your heart energy reflecting, perhaps like you're holding your heart in your hands. And the abundance, the good vibes you shared, swirling around back for you, manifold, manyfold, I don't know. Bringing your palms back to touch. It has been such a pleasure to share this first of many practices with you. Namaste. When you're ready, take your time. Slowly flutter your eyes open. Coming back to the room on your own timing. Each class will be a different vibe. Sometimes we'll finish in a corpse and I'll just let you stay there and rest, or we'll finish at the end of Namaste, or other times like today I might say a farewell message. I really want to explore all different types of videos for you, different lengths, different themes, maybe have some students join us or perhaps guest teachers. I would love if you wanted to comment by emailing ganjayogasf@gmail.com for my partner Scott to read your feedback, and you can reference each video number. So this is number 1. And as you send him feedback, positive or negative, it's all good. We'd love to hear, and then we can start to shape what's working best and what everyone loves the most. And perhaps everyone will love the diversity, and we'll keep it like that. So send me your thoughts or your ideas. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, the divine stoner in me sees the divine stoner in you. Namaste.